I'm a firm believer that the hardest part about puberty is coming to terms with yourself that no longer how smooth you try to be, no matter how smooth you try to be, it's just not cut out for a vessel with bustling hormones and testosterone. And some kidsters have a go at it, and for some, it works to an extent, but not for purebred roughhousers like me. I remember being in fifth grade thinking that elementary life would be the cool kid phase. The shit that kids look up to, the wowie powie, the gold mine of life. But I was quickly met with a fistful of fingers of my ego to tell me to slow my roll. But in my case, slow meant unacceptable. But to save you from laughing at the fit, I slipped and crashed, basically. My definition of making friends was if they would talk about FNAF with me. That's right, folks. You heard me first. Five Nights at Freddy's would be my opening act, my conversation starter every time I met a classmate. And since most of us were relatively new to the school, it was a social opportunity, and I took the chance with Freddy Fazbear as my fucking wingman at that point. I would consider someone as a friend if they held a conversation with me for like 10 seconds or less. I thought I was climbing up the social ladder, scoring the plus points and charisma. I had the whole game mastered already. But, a couple years later, I fell harder than a Windows XP downgrade. I was so awkward that I would go the whole day not talking to anyone. It got so bad at one point that I would just stand around for a whole period and stare in one direction. God forbid someone crossed my line of sight. I think they would have felt it from a mile away. It was just that impactful. I was also always playing hard to get for some reason. I thought that if I didn't want them, they would want me. I basically treated it like a physics lesson. But all that got me was being dry in conversations. I was always expecting them to carry the conversation instead of me. But yeah, to this day, I don't know how they didn't know about FNAF at that time. That was 2015. The first FNAF game was still pretty new back then. But yeah, that's it. I guess the moral of the story is just let things flow on its own. You'll get there somehow. Just don't rush it.